Welcome to the tour video of the PTO Manager Excel template from Indzara.com, designed specially for small business owners and HR professionals. This template can be used to help manage paid time off data for employees in your organization. In this video, I'm going to go through the different features and functionality of the template by taking a live look at the template itself. Now let's take a look. So this is the template where I have filled in with some sample data so that I can illustrate the features. When you download the template, you will not have any of the sample data so that you can start entering your own information directly and get started. Now, the home sheet has some useful links to articles which would be helpful if you're new to Excel or new to Excel templates or Excel tables. Definitely check those two articles. And then we have the list of instructions on how to use the template, very high level overview. There is also a lot of detailed help available in the PTO Manager support page. So please check that link for any questions you may have. And if you still have any more questions, definitely email for support and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Now let's get started with this. We have 7 different sheets that are visible in this template. The first one is the home. We can set our company's weekend dates and also the holidays in here in the sheet. So that's the purpose of this. These will be used by the template when it calculates the paid time off and the number of worked days by the employees. This will be used by the template. The PTO policy settings is where we actually set the policy rules which will govern how much PTO will be accrued by the employees, when will they accrue, and all that information. So this is very, very crucial. So definitely spend the time to make sure that the policy exactly matches with your company's expectations. The policy settings include first setting up the start date, the date when you begin tracking PTO using this template. On most occasions, your company or business might already be tracking PTO, maybe by manual methods, and you may have calculated the balance for your employees as of now. But when you begin using this template, start the date, and then you will have the option to enter your starting balances of your employees as of this date. So I will talk about that in the next sheet shortly, but this is the date when you begin tracking PTO using this template. Anything before that, the template will not automatically calculate. You will provide the balance by yourself. And this is the start date. The general settings, the PTO unit can be hours or days, so you can track or measure the PTO in days or hours. You can choose one of the 6 different frequencies of the accrual periods. So it could be a weekly, so the employees accrue every week, or every 2 weeks, or twice a month, or monthly, or quarterly. So for example, when I choose twice a month, and this is not the correct order. So if it's twice a month, I could say 1st and 15th of every month, the employees will accrue. Or I could say the last day and 15th of every month. So that's the purpose of that. Could say monthly, so monthly last day, or monthly any of the specific dates is when the employees will accrue. Similarly, we can set up quarterly or annual PTO accrual frequencies as well. And we can also choose whether the employees accrue at the beginning of the period or at the end of the period. So this is again very, very customizable. You can say monthly on the 1st of every month, I want them to accrue at the beginning of the month, which means that for the month of November, they will already be granted on November 1st, because that's the beginning of the accrual period. We can see the first accrual period. Let's make sure that this is correct according to our needs before we proceed, because this is very important. Since we chose monthly, the employees will be accruing 12 times per year. We can track 2 PTO or 2 types of PTO in this template. So if I choose 1, then these things don't apply anymore because we are only tracking 1 PTO. But if we do 2, then enter 2, then this becomes active. And within each PTO type, we can actually name them. So I've named them vacation. For example, if you want to name this as personal days, just type them in. It's very, very easy. The accrual rate of the employee annual accrual rate is entered here. And keep in mind that all the employees will have the same policy settings. These settings are not changed, cannot be changed per employee. These apply to all employees. So let's say the annual accrual rate is 12 days, and then the rollover policy. For example, do you have any kind of rollover limit? Or if you have a rollover limit, you can enter that limit. If you have zero rollover, which means at the end of every window, the employee loses the accrued balance and then starts from zero. Or you can have unlimited rollover, which means that the employee does not lose anything. And when does this rollover happen can also be changed. You can say it happens every calendar year, which means the 1st January, or you could say the work anniversary, which means that if the employee starts employment on 5th November, then every 5th November every year, then the rollover will happen. So this is very customizable. Or some companies may have their own financial calendars and they want to match the rollover timings along with that. So you can just custom date it, put in the date by which you want to apply the rollover. And once you do it once, then the template will figure out in the future how to do it. So these are the settings that are available. The probationary period is the period where the employee will not be earning any PTO. Some companies, some employees may have 30-day or a 90-day probationary period where first 90 days of their employment, they will not be earning any PTO balance. So you can set the number of days in the probationary period here. The maximum allowed PTO balance is a limit that we set so that at any point of time, the employee does not accrue more than this number. And this is quite common in companies, so you can set that as well. And the last setting here is, does the accrual rate vary by tenure? So we have seen that companies want to reward employees who stay with them longer. So if you have stayed with them for 2 years as an employee, then you deserve to get a better benefit, meaning a better PTO policy, which means more PTO days. So you can customize that. So for example, I would just choose yes. And now it'll say, please fill out the table below. And which means that when the employee is new, meaning 0 months completed, then the employee starts with 12 days of annual accrual and 15 maximum. And then once the employee reaches 24 months, completes 24 months of employment, then 15 and then would be the annual accrual rate, and the maximum is 20. And after completing 3 years, 18 and 25. So this is how you can customize and implement some type of a loyalty initiative where more loyal employees will get better PTO benefits. So the PTO type 2 is exactly similar. The only thing is that you cannot control the PTO rollover timing and the probationary period, because those will be the same for both types of PTO. But other than that, the name, accrual rate, rollover policy, these inputs can be changed. You can set this to not vary by tenure, meaning all the employees will always have the same sick day balance accrual regardless of how long they've been with the company. So that could be your policy. You can just say no here and you're good to go, while keeping the yes as by tenure for PTO type 1. So you have a lot of different combinations that you can set up for your PTO policy. This is very, very crucial. Take the time to set this up correctly, because once you start entering employee data, we should not change these things. You should just ignore this sheet and not change it at all, because any change you make to this will impact the employee PTO balance calculations. So make sure that you take the time initially to set this up correctly and not have to touch this later. So once we have done this, we go to the employee sheet. We can see the employee data. I've entered 10 employees here. I've entered their hire date, and one person has left the company, so I've entered the termination date and starting balance. So I talked about the starting balance here. The start date here is November 1st, which means that as of 31st, the balance for the employees should be entered here. So vacation balance as of 31st October, we enter it here. So the template will pick up from there, and from November 1st, the template will automatically calculate the new accruals and everything. But as of 31st, what was the balance would have to be entered by you. I'm assuming here that you will have existing employees who have been employed with you as of 31st October. So those will have some balances. For example, if a new employee starts on the 1st November, the employee will not have any balance, so then you'll just put 0. So for new employees starting in the future, then you can just put 0 balance. But for older employees or tenured employees, enter the starting balance. Again, this is how simple it is to migrate from your existing method or system to this template. So that's it, very simple. Enter your employee data. When new employees join, keep entering your employees in this table. The time off sheet is where we record the PTO or the paid time off days taken by your employees. And I have entered a few records here. I've entered the start and the end date of the PTO and what type of PTO was it? Is it vacation or sick? Because we can track 2 types of vacation PTO here in this template. If you have an employee taking only 1 day off, let's say 2nd November, then I enter the 2nd November here and here, both would be the same day. And then if the employee is taking 2 days, so 6th November to 7th, then I enter it here. And I choose the right type of time off. Since we are tracking everything in days here, then we don't have to enter the PTO hours because it says PTO hours not needed. If we were entering it in hours, then a lot of things change automatically. And here it'll say enter PTO hours. So make sure that we enter the number of hours. Is it 8 hours, whatever the number of hours is, make sure that you enter them here. So that is how you can customize it if your company is wanting to track in days or hours. This is the only difference. Everything else remains exactly the same. Now, PTO report. So now we are done with the data entry part. It's very, very simple. As you saw, set up the policy, enter your employee information, enter the time they take off. That's it. Every time an employee plans to take the time off, just enter it here in one row and you're good to go. Okay, so now let's go to the PTO report, which is fully automated, where we can choose a specific employee and see their current report, which would show the accrual rates for their PTOs, as well as the current balance. As of now, how many days in this case of vacation and sick days balance do they have? As well as we can see a specific year of accrual days as well as the PTO days. So the accrual days are shown in light blue font, and then here the vacations are shown in black fill, and then the red fill will indicate the sick days. So this employee started in March 2014 as a hire date, and the employee doesn't have any starting balance, which we can see on this side here on the second page, and has accrued 1.250 of vacation in November and 1.25 in December, and also sick days 0.833, and the PTO used 1 day in November for vacation and 1 day in sick day for the December. So that is the PTO used information, earned information, a calendar view so that we can visually see the PTO days. All of this is ready to be printed. If you want to change the year, you can just put 2017. So since I'm recording this video in December of 2016, it's not 2017 yet. So that's why these things are not updating. But as you move into 2017, then this will automatically get updated. So let me switch that back to 2016. So this is the first page of the PTO report. The second page has the balance history, which includes the starting balances. So let me go back here to the employee sheet. So employee 6, I don't have any balances entered. So let's say the employee came on 31st October with the balance of 5 days of PTO and 4 days of sick days, let's say, then I could put that in. And now the PTO report, you can see, looks a little different for the employee with the starting balance coming up, which means that the employee starts at a much higher balance because of the starting balance, and then it goes from there on. Now, the first effective accrual period is shown, and if the employee starts in the middle of an accrual period, prorating will be applied. After you start tracking the PTO in this template, if a new employee starts in the middle of an accrual period, you will see prorating will be done. So we can check that quickly by entering. So the first accrual window is 1st to 30th November. So let's say an employee 10 starts November 15th in the middle of an accrual window. So I'm going to go back here and choose employee 10. So now you can see that for the first period, the 1st to 30th, the employee doesn't earn the full amount. The employee earns only a partial amount prorated, and this is because the first accrual day is 15th November, middle of the window. And so this prorating will automatically done by the template to help you with the calculations. So now let me go back to the employee 6 where we had some vacation and the sick days. So one thing about this calendar is please refresh your calculations as I have a little note here to calculate so that this visualization updates to reflect the current employee that you have selected. And then the balance trend chart, it's very obvious. It shows the green line with the vacation balance, blue with the sick day balance, and the little dots, the yellow ones indicate when the vacation was used by the employee, and the purple dots indicate when the sick days were used by the employee. You can control this chart by entering the number of days. If I only want to see for 366 days, or if I want to see it only for the next 90 days, then you can definitely update this as you need. And then this is set with a formula, but if you want, you can unprotect the sheet and also change this date if needed. But by default, it's protected. And that's all the PTO report does. You can go to File, Print, and then print the two sheets. So this is the first one, and this is the second sheet. So both sheets you can, both pages in the sheet you can print or export to PDF. And then we have the calendar sheet, which is a different visualization where we can show for one chosen month, we can see the employees listed this way and that month's dates listed this way. And we can see where which employee is taking the vacation when, and weekends will be grayed out, and then the holidays will be purple. And if the employee is not employed anymore, you will see NE. So these things are available to automatically show us the resource capacity for this month. So you can see that the vacation total for the employee for the month, sick days total for them for the month, and then also the number of worked days. And we have a few more customization options, so we can definitely change the month if we would like. And now the December, the dates being reflected, and as well as you can see, you can change this to not show just the first 40 employees, but if you want to move to the 5th employee, for example, just type 5th, and now you can see 5th to 44th. So you can scroll this using the simple entry here. You can also extend this table to show more than 40 employees, but make sure that it's print ready accordingly if you extend it, because right now it is set up for 40 employees ready to be printed. And if you want to extend it, make sure that you also customize the print settings as well. Now, the other options you have here are, instead of V for vacation, if you want to call it P for personal days, then you can enter P, and then immediately the calendar will update. If I want to switch it back to V, I do that. Similarly, you can control the legend of all these possible options. The workday days will be summarized for us. So this is what the calendar does. It will help you in planning for a month. How many days do you expect from all your employees in a specific month? So I would suggest you could do this at the beginning of the month or end of a month. Look at the next month's data to see how many resource capacity or how much resource capacity you expect to have, and then you can plan your projects or work according to that. or you may need to hire more people to meet with the demand. Now, this is the fully automated calendar sheet. Now, the last one is the PTO adjustments. You may not need this sheet. This is a completely optional sheet. On occasions, I want to add a few days of PTO to my employee. Then you can adjust that easily by entering the employee date, the date where you want to apply the adjustment, what type of PTO was it, and then you adjust the value by this amount. So if you put a positive value, that means the employee's balance will be added or increased by that amount. If you put a negative value, that means the employee's balance will go down by that amount. And so this is how you can manually adjust the balances if there are any situations where you need to do a one-time adjustment to the balance on top of what's already calculated automatically by the template. Most likely you may not need it, but this is a way for the template to be flexible to meet any company's needs by providing a way to adjust manually. So now coming back to the home sheet. So this is a simple Excel sheet to help manage PTO in your organization. There are no hidden macros or code or anything like that. It's a simple Excel file, which means that you can add new sheets if you would like, or if you want to change any of the formatting such as colors or font, you can just do that very easily. Just select and then change colors if you'd like. So those are fully flexible because it's a simple regular Excel file. If you have any questions about the features of this template, please leave them in the comments. I look forward to your feedback, and thank you very much for watching this video. In the next video, we will see how we can start from a blank template and start entering our input data one by one, step by step. Thank you.